Cyril Derreumaux. Kayaking solo, unsupported, and nonstop across an ocean takes a distinctive character, one with grit, determination, and resilience. In his presentation, Cyril relates to his audience his incredible 91-day journey crossing the Pacific Ocean, by the way, from Monterey to Hawaii, in a solo kayak, and all that this expedition taught him. He demonstrates the power of passion and inner fire and delivers a message of man's universal ability to find grit and resilience. Please welcome Cyril.
Thanks so much, Janice. Hi, everyone. Super happy to be here today. Today, I'm going to talk about what I do. And what I do is I motivate crowds. I inspire crowds to follow their dreams. Just before I do my presentation, I have a little PowerPoint to show you. Let's do a quick introduction. So I was born in France, but then I lived in many countries around the world. I speak 6 languages. I lived in Argentina for a year. I lived in Brazil for 6 months. I studied a master's degree in international business. I was in England for a year, studied in Oxford, England. And then I went to Spain for a year, and then Paris for 2 years. And I moved to Italy for 2 years. And I tripped around the world for 1 year when I was 25. But yeah, I consider myself a citizen of the world. I moved to California 14 years ago. And before that, I had never kayaked. I moved here, I was 32 years old. And 10 years later, I thought I was ready to cross the Pacific. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to talk to you about my adventure. This is my kayak. Her name is Valentine, 23 feet long. And I want to talk to you about what I do. But before that, I want to ask you a question. If you think of the biggest endeavors that humans have ever done, what do you think about? Maybe climbing the Everest. There's 11,000 people that have done that. Maybe swimming the English Channel. There's 4,000 people that have done that. How about going to space? There's actually 600 people that have gone to space. Okay, let's go a bit further. Walking on the moon. 12 people have walked on the moon. How about kayaking across an ocean? There's only been 4 people, and I'm one of those 4 people. So when I do my presentation, I actually go through everything, but I'm sure you have many questions. That is, the first one would be why? Why would you want to do such a journey? Leave all the comfort of home, go towards something where you could lose your life. Leaving from California all the way to Hawaii took me 91 days and 9 hours. Now, it was not the first time I had done that. 6 years ago, I actually crossed on a 4-man rowing boat. So I got my first Guinness record for 39 days crossing, and I loved it so much. I said, I'm going to do it again, but this time in a kayak. A kayak is much smaller. It's a completely different adventure. But when you take off, when I took off, it was just under the Golden Gate on this 23-foot boat. And what does that mean? It means that once I'm alone at sea, I don't see land for 91 days, for 3 months. I'm completely alone. My expedition was solo, unsupported, and with no boat following me at all. So I didn't see a human being for 90 days. I didn't walk for 90 days. And what does that mean physically, mentally? How do you choose your equipment? How do you train for that? Because I was going to be kayaking for 12 to 14 hours a day. What does it mean mentally to be completely alone? How do you deal with seasickness and all the equipment failure that you could have? How do you fit so much food? I had 240 pounds of food, and I eat 4,000 calories a day. So I talk about this, how to prepare for this. It took me 4 years to get that trip going. Because once I'm out on the ocean, there's nothing else. Once I push the pier and I get to Hawaii, all the way to Hawaii, there's nobody helping me. It's completely unsupported. So think about all the places that you go in 90 days, all the people you see and the things you talk about. Well, I've missed all that. In 90 days, I've just kayaked. So my presentation is usually about all the things that I've learned, because I've learned so much about myself physically, but mentally. I talk about how I created the whole project from the get-go, from convincing people to draw me a boat and actually designing the boat, financing, creating the website, the PowerPoint, and feeling the fire of the passion to be able to do this. And then preparing physically. How do you get prepared? How do I know? And convincing people. That's all about having a team together. Also the mental side. The mental is the biggest challenge of all, really. it's 90% mental. How did I do that? I tried everything. I tried Zazen meditation. I tried Wim Hof, cold water soaking. And I also went to see this guru in India to do some intervention on like mental, but the unknown side of the unconscious side. I did hypnosis. And how about training? Once I take off from the pier, I could die. So what do I do if I fall off the water, if my boat starts to sink? Getting prepared for safety, all the classes that I've done. And the beauty of it all is, being with out in the ocean and having the wilderness. And that's why I wanted to do this. I did this to feel alive, to feel connection with nature. But it all started with my first takeoff. Actually, I did the first attempt in 2021, took off of the Golden Gate. It was fantastic. I felt like I had done it already, because the hardest thing is usually to get to the starting line. But then after 6 days, big storm came in, 35 knots of wind. I had to be rescued by the Coast Guards. And what does happen? Yeah, it's failure. Of course it's failure, because I had trained for 3 years, and after 1 week I had to be rescued. And then you start to not listen to the naysayers. And how do you reassess everything so that you're ready to go again? 1 year later, after having, trained and get better and reassess completely my training, I decided to take off again from Monterey and deal again with a seasickness. And for 3 days, I'm always seasick. The confinement of the cabin and all the container ship that are around me, it's a danger. So I cannot sleep more than 1 hour a day. I have to wake up every hour. But the beauty of it all is once you're in the ocean, it's just fantastic. You have a feeling like you're one with the ocean, one with life. The sunrises are amazing. The sunsets are amazing. And then you feel like this is why I'm doing this. Then all the reasons are coming all together. But it's hard. I mean, 90 days, it's 2 months at sea, completely alone. How do you deal with your mind? How do you deal with all the doubts that you have? How do you remotivate yourself every time that you doubt and there's a breakage on the boat? You have to invent yourself to fix it. There's electronics, there's medical things that you have to do with yourself. And how do you keep the discipline through it all until you get there? And that's the best feeling. When you see land, it's just fantastic. Like you've made it. And the satisfaction and the intensity of the emotion is just so powerful. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the passion, feeling the inner fire, feeling, the wanting it so much that you change your whole life to make it happen. It's all about passion, creating a team. Without my team, I would have never done it. For sure. The people on land were just my team with me all the time. And then I'll talk also about all the pleasures that I have that are re-enhanced. So the support of my talk is that adventure, and also that I'm an active one because I want to cross the Atlantic next year. But what are the key takeaways that I'm doing in my talks? It's about aiming high. It's about self-awareness. It's about finding your own voice, about attitude. There's so many things, but the most important is that it's not theory. I'm not a teacher. I'm here to tell you real life stories. And what I do is naturally, I say it with all my emotions, and I connect with my crowd. I leave them completely inspired, completely re-energized. Of course, not to cross an ocean, but maybe to have more adventures in their life, maybe to inflate a little bit more of pleasure and share that adventure at work, but also in their own family. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Cyril. I do have so many more questions. It's amazing. The ability that you could see a whale, like I love whale watching so much. The idea of seeing a whale from the kayak would be both amazing and terrifying at the same time. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing your message and your passion for adventure. We so appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.